your phone, it's your phone, it's your phone, it's your phone.
Hello? Hey, sorry to bother you, man, but I think you should totally make a video about that one movie you just saw. Hello?
It's your phone again.
What? Yeah, I think we had a misunderstanding or something. You're gonna make a video for this movie, and that's how that's gonna go. Okay? Alright? Because we don't want any problems. Okay? Yeah, sure, whatever. Let me just finish my popcorn and I'll do it. Peace. With Sorry to Bother You, I initially was interested because Lakeith Stanfield was in it, and I've seen him in Atlanta, and I've liked the way that his character was. I liked the way he portrayed characters and how it was basically an extension of his personality. So I was like, okay, cool, Lakeith in this, and the trailer definitely piqued my interest even more. Everyone was on Twitter like, oh my god, this is like super weird and super full of messages and meaningful, and I definitely was just like, okay, I have to see this one. I really wanted to see this one. So I went to go see it. It's clear from the outset that Sorry to Bother You is looking to address a myriad of issues, such as, but not limited to, racism, sexism, classism, how money separates the poor, the middle class, and the rich. All kinds of different things that Boots Riley crafts in a weird conglomerate movie. I think the weirdness is used in a way to accentuate certain situations in order to really garner more attention to them, and since there's a lot of things happening in this movie, it may seem like the primary message is lost in there, but I feel like I was able to get a good grasp on it, at least on my initial viewing. The white voice in Sorry to Bother You is a criticism of how people cannot let African Americans be themselves. They cannot work in a professional environment, or is believed that they cannot work in a professional environment with their normal everyday voice. They have to sound approachable. They have to sound nice and kind. Even though their normal voice can be that, people see it as different due to a bunch of stereotypes that unfortunately consistently prevail, because people cannot see past those things, and I mean majority, not everyone. So the white voice is a way for Cassius to sell and make money, and so he uses it, and in a way he's already starting to sacrifice parts of himself in order to make money, which makes it more interesting that a black guy is the one that tells Cassius to use his white voice. It adds another layer onto that this black guy understands. He's been around this company for a long time. Clearly he's a veteran of the place, and he understands that this is what it takes to make money, which I feel is the central theme in Sorry to Bother You. With money being the central theme in Sorry to Bother You, it shows how struggle can affect your moral compass in a way, because once you finally get out of that, why would you want to go back to it? It's like if I told you, hey, you can live in this dumpster for like 2 months, and here's a mansion, here you go, here's a fresh clean mansion, but you have to sacrifice your friends and family and all the things you love for it. Part of you might be like, do I really want to live in that dumpster? Money makes people question certain things morally. Like, it makes them sacrifice certain things that they might not otherwise sacrifice, because money is so integral to survival that depending on your situation, you might be willing to sacrifice people, you might be willing to sacrifice things, because you want to finally get past the point of being in a situation where you're worried about money constantly. Living in comfort does require some form of sacrifice, yes. And for someone who's affluent, this isn't something that they might have to think about at all. They might have to worry about, well, do I want a third yacht? As Biggie Smalls once said, more money, more problems. Cinematic wise, this movie was super cool. It felt like a TV show at certain points where I was like, this could definitely work as an episodic series. I watched 3 seasons of Sorry to Bother You, see what happens. I think that might have worked a little bit better, who knows? But I did enjoy the movie when it had its little weird transitions. My favorite little detail, check Tessa Thompson's earrings. Her character Detroit's earrings, I believe they changed every single time. I don't think they were the same one time, and I'm wondering what that means. I probably would have to watch it again to figure out what it meant, because there's certain little messages in there that I'm sure I missed on my first viewing. I love the transitions, the little, when they were in the bed making out and like the whole house is changing. That was the coolest thing I've seen. I've never seen a transition like that where you can tell, like, basically it's saying something, it's showing not telling in the best way possible. Cassius is making more money, and bam, look at that, his house is now changing, and instead of it being him under a freaking what is the thing called, garage, instead of living in a garage, now he lives in a upscale apartment, and we see that literally happen, which is a cool way of saying like he's making more money without literally saying it. The other transition that I liked was when he's by himself and like the days are passing. You kind of see the sunlight moving and through the house. I just thought that was neat. I visually enjoyed that. It was cool. I like the shot where Cassius is in the office and like he's not in office. He's doing his telemarketing. He's trying to sell and he's having issues. And behind him is just this chaos in the copier room where like all his papers are flying everywhere, everything's flying everywhere, and he's just kind of right behind it, but he's not looking at it, and he's just frustrated with himself. And that could basically be a reference to how sometimes we feel like our issues overtake everything, but yet the entire world is suffering from something on a much more tumultuous scale. So it was really cool to finally see the movie after seeing all the trailers and the GIFs and the art. It was so fun to see this movie. It was really, really, really weird. It was funny at times. It was strange. And I think that it did have a good story. I think there was a lot of things that were compiled into this movie, but it wasn't to the detriment of the movie necessarily. I do feel like there was a lot of loose ends that didn't really get tied up too well, but overall I did enjoy the movie. I was weirded out by the movie. Not to mention, this is an indie movie and it's Boots Riley's directorial debut. So this is gonna be, I hope, a stepping stone, and we're gonna get even weirder, cooler movies with a little bit more of a cohesive story that, you know, ties up the loose ends and everything sort of comes together. A little bit of this movie didn't feel like it came together necessarily in the ultimate fashion that maybe I would have liked, but I still enjoyed the movie, and I definitely left the theater like going, WTF. Well, this guy says I could not be a telemarketer, but I could definitely bother you. I'm sorry about it. You get it? Because the title of the movie is sorry to... y'all can stop recording.